Hey, what is up guys, Massive here, back to do another video, and I'm going to do a quick short video for you all this week, and it has to do with Mutant Marauders. Now, I've seen a couple comments, you guys wanted me to showcase a Mutant strategy, and boy, do I have the strategy for you today. It's going to be one of the greatest Mutant Marauder games you've ever seen, guys. So without further ado, let's get straight into this game. And I apologize if I sound a little bit weird, I am developing a bit of a cold right now. Anyways, I'm going to be up here playing as the Marked of Kane, the green Marked of Kane. Just making sure I got the game sound, which I do. Oh, sorry, Black Hand. I picked Black Hand. I totally forgot about that. Down here will be my opponent, Senna, as the cyan, yellow scrin. Wow, really making a mess of this intro here. But now, I did develop a strategy with the Mutant Hovel on this map. It's a derivative of the 2 War Factory all-in that you see Nob players typically do on 1 refinery, 2 harvesters. But instead of a 2nd War Factory, I captured the Mutant Hovel with an engineer at the start. So I still technically have 2 build queues with that double harvester, 1 refinery. Only, it's not 2 War Factories, it's a War Factory and a Mutant Hovel. Now, how does this work, you're asking? Well, it works by making Reckoners. And I go for a Reckoner Rush, it's going to appear like a Reckoner Rush. But really what it is a tier 2 to upgrade Dozer Blades. And the Dozer Blades is going to be great for my Reckoners and also for my Scorpion tanks. I'm going to queue a lot of Scorps and a lot of Dozer Blades from that 1 War Factory. And you're going to see, guys, just how cost effective it'll be in the long run. We're also going to see what set I could have done differently in this game. And I'm going to also show you a game after this game, demonstrating the same against Eclipse, who is also a pro player in this game. Anyway, let's turn on these help bars so we can see everything that's happening. So there's my engineer for the all-in. Unfortunately, this does get sniped. This was not the best execution in the world. Mutant Marauder does come out just in the nick of time. This is actually going to save my harvester. There is another one there. I decided to put it inside of the Reckoner, however. Harvester will just about live. And you can see on the radar there are 4 additional descents. Now, he did kill my spike. I'm not generating that $600 a minute of income. So this is potentially the worst possible outcome for me. I'm getting Dozer Blades, but I just don't have the income. I'm trying to research it. It's a $2,000 upgrade. I actually cancelled what I was queuing from my War Factory. Would have been Scorpion tanks because, hey, the only units I am building right now are benefiting from the Dozer Blade upgrade. Senna here on 3 harvesters, so you can see he's not in the best of shape when it comes to eco. Only 3 harvesters. I wasn't letting him eco up. There's the Reckoner. I get the deployment in his base. Seekers takes huge gun damage, almost getting that Seeker tank sniped immediately. It does go down just then. Mutant Marauder's going to clean up these descents. Good for me. I queued 2 more because I'm just going to queue another Reckoner. I'm going to put these in another Reckoner. I'm going to queue another one. And by the way, when this Reckoner falls, I'm going to anticipate that it will because there's photon cannons and he's going to keep putting them down. So instead of letting these mutants die, I'm going to queue an additional Reckoner behind this one. Dozer Blades finally completed, as you can see. Even the Reckoner does benefit from that Dozer Blade upgrade. I'm even going to put the Cabal inside of the Reckoner, but fun fact, the Cabal doesn't grant the area, the rate of fire buff within Reckoners, so you have to de-garrison your units to get that buff, which is pretty good, otherwise it would be pretty imbalanced. 2 Scorps here, very heavily damaged. If I had not got Dozer Blades, those tanks would have died for sure. I'm going to get those back to base for some repairs. 2 more Mutant Marauders reinforcing in. I even have a secondary Reckoner. I'm going to put those inside of the Reckoner, those 2 Mutant Marauders. And there's already a, well, half health Mutant Reckoner in his field. You can see how much damage that's doing to harvesters. That's pretty sick amount of damage over time. That will kill a harvester pretty quickly. There are 3 photon cannons trying to DPS that down. All 3 cannons, they're doing damage. The mutants getting buffed there by the Cabal, as mentioned. I'm not going to chance it. I'm going to run for the building. I deploy the Reckoner at his expansion so he can't get that expansion underway. And mutants, by the way, can shoot air. So as you can see here, those Mutant Marauders doing some pretty good damage to his drone ship. He can get an expansion down. He's got 3 photon cannons at his expansion. I've got these Scorp tanks continuously just trickling them in. Reckoner double Mutant Reckoner deploy at his base so I can stop him from leeching Tiberium. Now this was a mistake from me, guys. I think what I should have done here was, well, not evac the mutants, should have had them inside of the Reckoner. That was a huge mistake in this game. Really big mistake, but this one here doing work. stopping from harvesting Tiberium. If he's not paying attention, he will lose harvest. His mutants do sick damage to Skrin vehicles, just because Skrin are naturally weak to that gun damage. They are like biological to a degree. They're biological aliens. Don't quote me, but I'm not an expert on the lore. They're really weak to gun damage. These two tanks, I've been trying to get back to the war factory for repair, but I've been frantically trying to micro this stuff around here. 3 tanks is all I have, and a mutant reckoner with 2 mutants and a cabal. That will still do it for me. Senna, with those mistakes I made, should allow himself back into this game. He's got a lot of seekers, disintegrators, photon cannons. Eco is up as well. This was a big mistake from me. This could have been killing his harvesters if I had not evac'd those mutant marauders. So he's going to engage here with the seekers against this mutant reckoner. Now, this is a huge mistake because seekers have a really bad resistance to gun damage, and the amount of damage this reckoner is pouring onto these seekers is just insane. These mutant marauders are going to rank up incredibly quickly, as you see there, taking all that damage. There's even another mutant reckoner at his expansion field, which I'm going to use to kill those harvesters, try and stop him from leeching Tiberium, because if I can starve him out of funds, that's good for me. One thing I noticed, he still has this Tiberium spike. I wasn't able to capture it. This harvester will just about to escape. I don't think I was noticing it either. I was concentrating on this. Harvesters do get healed in Tiberium, but I don't think they get healed when they're taking damage in Tib. I'm still queuing units from that one war factory, so this game is far from over, guys. There's no killing blow for me. There's a full health reckoner here with the Dozer Blade upgrade. That's going to take a million DPS to kill, especially with no like tripods, and he can't get tripods because he just doesn't have income for it. He could get dev tanks though. You're going to see in the next game what dev tanks do. They also have the same issue as the Seekers. Veterans see now going on to these mutant marauders. More photon cannons being deployed, and the reckoner at the main base is still killing harvesters. Look, another harvester falls. Photon cannons I'm trying to kill. I've got a Black Hand squad here as well. Remember, he's queuing photon cannons to kill the Dozer Bladed Scorpion tank, so he can't kill this. I'm going to quickly DPS this buzzer down. I deliberately targeted these buzzers so I can get this Black Hand squad into the reckoner. Buzzer Hive does now come down, but those don't have much health. I can order my tanks to kill that. And what does Senna do here? He's got this photon cannon, but that's getting killed very quickly by the mutant marauders. Cannon getting destroyed quickly, but Senna, he's already got another one queued. Another photon cannon comes down. Gunwalker's being made as well. I've got 5-6 tanks in the base. A lot of them are wounded, but with that Dozer Blades upgrade, they're really resilient. As you see, Dozer Blades really paying off. And look at my Tyrant field as well at my main. I haven't cleaned up it all. I only have 2 harvesters, but remember, I've spent this money on units instead of infrastructure. He spent his resources building units and not trading effectively because I have an upgrade advantage. Gunwalker gets destroyed, and he does have this Buzzer Hive here, so I'm going to quickly DPS this Hive. A elite mutant marauder in that field. I've also got this reckoner fully deployed. He can't leech from this field here either. 2 elite mutant marauders and a Black Hand squad. These photon cannons are toast. Even if he puts down a Buzzer Hive here, it's just going to get immediately focused down. Look how quick those photon cannons are falling to the mutant marauders, to the Black Hand. Another photon cannon comes down, but that's not going to be quite enough. I'm going to finish that one off. Senna decides to call it quits. He's going to say GG here, and that is it. What I think is one of the most amazing Black Hand mutant based strategies you're ever going to see against Skrin. And I want to quickly go on to the next game to show you all how this strategy would perform against Eclipse. Now, Eclipse in this next game did face my Marked of Kane. So it's not Black Hand. We're going to see a derivative of this faction with the Marked of Kane. So don't leave. I've got another game coming right up. Alright guys, I'm back, and I have not 1 but 2 of these games for you to cast. This is the second one. It's going to be against Eclipse this time, so we're going to bring up the health bar. We can see health bar, player status screen. We can see Bike Rush observing. We can see Eclipse and myself playing. So I'm going to be up here playing as the blue Marked of Kane instead of Black Hand. Same idea as the previous game. Eclipse is going to be the Skrin faction. Now, this is only going to work against Skrin and Reaper 17. I wouldn't recommend this against any other faction. Traveler as well. It's going to be great against Trav. Maybe, though they can go for Cultists and take the Reckoner. So probably not going to work too well against Traveler. But against Skrin, it's a great thing to do. And Marked of Kane, you know, they do struggle against Skrin, so it's a pretty relevant thing on this map if you want a fun game. And you know your opponent's picking Skrin. Tell them to go on Tournament LA, copy this build, and have a blast. So I'm going to go ahead and take over this Mutant Hovel. I think more maps should have mutant hovels. This is the only map in the game where the mutant hovel is just right next to your spawn location, besides Crater, but it's really hard to push into Crater. This map is unique in that you can attack your opponent directly, and their tip field is more open to harassment, whereas on Crater it's more difficult to do that. So Eclipse, he's going to be Reaper 17 this time, so there's a difference. Last time we saw Scrin, so we're going to see Reaper 17 now. Reaper 17 should have an easier time with this because they do have the Shardwalkers, and they do have the Shielded Harvesters, and Dev Tanks have a free scan ability as well to scout. I didn't micro these Awakens, so that again wasn't a good thing for me. I'm going to go ahead, sell this MCV, get the second Harvester out once again. I'm going to get that Mutant Marauder too. Now the one key difference in this game is my opponent did not go for those descents, so descents are a common thing, so maybe Black Hand would be best for dealing with Disintegrators, but nonetheless I do have this Dozer Blade, well, not Dozer Blade Reckoner yet, but a Reckoner with 2 mutants inside of it. Upgrading Dozer Blades as we speak. This Engineer, I do manage for it to survive. I didn't want to put it inside of the Reckoner because I wanted this first wave of units to do a lot of damage, so I'm pushing in here with the Mutant Reckoner. If he tries to chase this over Seeker, I can always just evac the mutants and engage the Seeker. The Seeker will die very quickly, as you saw in that last game. Seekers take immense damage from that. Now the Reckoner does deploy, it loses quite a bit of health. Let's bring up the health bars once again so we can see these units and their health bars full. Seeker, they're getting attacked by everything. The Reckoner is half health, which is unfortunate. Shardwalker even gets destroyed, so as you can see, those Mutant Marauders do a lot of damage. Definitely worth the upgrade, the Mutant Hovel investment. I can easily sink my money into this because I'm upgrading Dozer Blades, I'm queuing stuff from the War Factory, I can even queue Mutants as well, get another Reckoner out, as I did in that last game. So I'm going to evac these Mutant Marauders here. The Buzzer Hive will try and chase those, but they're going to be outside of range relatively soon. Mutants will run away. Now, I was conscious of the fact that he can build a Shardwalker. So guess what? I'm going to build another Reckoner. I'm going to build another Reckoner just to put these Mutant Marauders into the Reckoner. 4 of these tanks should be able to clean up this Shardwalker, especially with that rear damage bonus, because when you attack units from the rear, they take 150%. Well, they take 50% more damage than they would normally. So here comes another Reckoner. I'm going to put the mutants inside of this Reckoner. Full health Reckoner gets deployed, this time with Dozer Blades. Mutants going to head straight into that. Those get taken out there, and these Scorps are pretty weak. I should probably force those back to base for repairs. Full health Reckoner. I don't believe this takes directional armor when it's deployed. I'm not sure. I would need to check that. I think it still is technically a vehicle because you can repair it near a War Factory, so it must be. And I did just about evac this as well, so there you go. The Mutant Marauders still live. I'm going to kill this Buzzer here. Very tense game. This is what I like about Kane's Drive. All these tense low eco games. Seekers shouldn't be able to push this back, as you see a Seeker falls victim to the reverse move bugging. Got 2 Mutant Marauders still alive. 3 tanks left, and you're probably thinking, Leaf, this is it. This is game over. The Eclipse is still on 3 Harvesters. That's how hard this push goes. And I do have my Dozer Blade upgrade, so guys, bear that in mind. I do have a significant advantage in that my tanks trade much better against his units right now. It's kind of like getting a +1 in StarCraft, and your opponent doesn't have it. It's a pretty big deal. It's 50% more armor across the board for the tank. And you can see another Reckoner comes out. So I've got another Reckoner with Mutant Marauders. The same ones that we just saw engage here. And this is going to have 1 million health once again. Photon Cannon comes down. Another advantage of Dozer Blades is the fact that it can crush Disintegrators and not take any damage whilst doing so. Normally Descents deal damage when they crush stuff. So there you can see Photon Cannons falling very quickly. Seekers as well, taking some pretty big damage. Mutants ranking up there. That must be the other mutant. We just saw a veterancy rank appear on that. By the way, download my 4K mod to see that, because otherwise you won't see it. Dev Tanks now finally coming out. So if for all you guys wondering last game, how would Dev Tanks do against this? But you're going to see this game is far from over. It's going to be one hell of a ride. So let's keep going. There's 5-6 tanks here. Second Dev Tank comes out. These mutants are trying to pour as much lead onto this Dev as possible. Dozer Bladed Scorps taking so much damage, the Dev Tank will ultimately fall. But as you see, there's a bit of a death trap there with those 2 photon cannons. It's mostly the photon cannons that are really the problem for me, because those have a lot of health, really hard to dislodge without Black Hand. As we saw in that last game, the Black Hand squad was able to clean up that photon cannon defense wall at the expansion. This time my opponent is not really able to expand. I still have a lot of Tiberium left to harvest. Look at Eclipse, he's been mining away, but he spent 3 grand on a second refinery. He spent it on all of these buildings, whereas I've been mostly training combat units with an upgrade. And even this Reckoner, look at this Reckoner here, it's still going. Trying to focus this MCV, getting it out of the fray, so he's just left to a war factory. So I'm going to evac these mutants. There's an elite mutant marauder squad there, just losing one of its members. Buzzer Hive will imminently come down on that. And he puts the Buzzer Hive down, but I've got too many tanks there. He's going to actually go for the mutant. The mutants do just about escape. I turn to quickly kill the Buzzer. Another Reckoner comes out for me. So again, another Reckoner. This is relentless. Reckoners, Scorpion tanks, everything is being pushed in. I even keep the op center. Everyone would sell their op center, but this is where this push rush, or rather, I mean, is it a rush? I mean, I guess it is technically a rush because it is an all-in on one ref. But it's an extended rush where the objective is to starve out your opponent and win through upgrades and attrition. 3 dev tanks are out now, a 4th poised to come out. Now, this is unfortunate for Eclipse because he's going to have to engage outside of his war factory. And why is that? Well, it's because I have to... I apologize, I do have a bit of a sore throat at the moment, but I should get through this cast without losing my voice, hopefully. Dev tanks being taken out, 1 more goes down. These need to get charged up, but these tanks, look at these wounded tanks. If I had not got doses, those would have all failed. I should get those back to base for repairs. And I'll get evac the mutants once again. This mutant marauder squad is insane. How many times has this escaped death? It's going to escape death once again. Am I going to turn and shoot this? I can't remember what I did. Yeah, I do there. Look. The mutant marauders do live, though their usefulness is pretty much not so much now. One thing of note is, in this game, he has been camping my mutant hovel, and I was not paying attention to this. So he's been killing mutants as they come and spawn out of the mutant hovel. So that's a little unfortunate. He's even beaconing here saying LOL, and I didn't even see this in game. Heroic buzzers, so this has gone from bad to worse for me. Not great, but Eclipse should be still in this game. He's moving in with his drone ship. As you see, he knows he can't expand. It's going to cost him 3 grand to get an expansion down. I've got so many tanks with dozer blades. That's a lot of tanks. If I get those 3 tanks healed up, especially the veteran one, I should be doing pretty well. I've got a mutant marauder, which I'm going to try and get some damage onto this drone ship, or I was attempting to, but I wasn't expecting the shard walker. Another mutant marauder does fall. It's a very weak reckoner now. I'm not going to do too much. Maybe it could tank some shots from the dev tanks. Before dev tanks, I'm not too concerned about this really. I do have Tiberium Trooper. If I did not sell that op center at full health, I wouldn't have got the full squad there. Buzzers do fall. This is just cannon fodder though for Eclipse. Gunwalker will now go down. Now it's all about formation move. There's 4 tanks here, 4 dev tanks, but I should be able to just move forward here because I have overwhelming forces, especially with this dozer blade. If I had not got dozers, then all these tanks would have gone down a lot quicker. Maybe I wouldn't have had the force multiply needed to finish this one off. A stasis shield comes down. And Eclipse, his drone ship, has no war factory queued. He must have sold a lot of his base off all this stasis. Harvester does get back to base with no blue tib. I guess because of the tanks that I moved in just at the right time. Elite Mutant Marauder still alive. And I've got my sights set on this drone ship. I'm going to go straight for it. Mutant Marauder going to kill that engineer, not quite going heroic. I was like, damn it, man, I just want a heroic Mutant Marauder in this game. Would have been the perfect end to this game. As you see, I've put the GDI Chevron rank on the Mutant Marauder, so you can see it's an elite double vet Mutant Marauder. 1 more dev tank in the base, a second one about to come out. I'm going to just focus down this war factory, considering how that's the only production left for him. And that is pretty much the game. So 2 dev tanks, not going to do a whole lot here. And that is the power of Mutant Marauders. And I wasn't even checking the Mutant Hovel yet. Still losing a lot. Imagine if I had noticed that. This would have been a much more convincing win in the end. But I do have a lot of tanks here. I'm going to overwhelm this army. Damaging the refinery with this mutant so I can try and get a heroic. And these dev tanks will ultimately fall. and Eclipse throws in the towel. So there you go, guys. That is my new Mutant Marauder strategy against Scrin on LA. I don't think anyone's ever done it before, and I hope you all enjoyed it. You can all try it out yourselves. But it has to be against Scrin or Reaper 17. I don't think against any other faction it would work, just because of how weak the Scrin units are to gun damage early on. That's why it works effectively against them. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this short video. And yeah, this is Master Leaf. Peace out.